Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back, Space Engineers. Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Quantum Trader. Quantum Trader, say hello. Well, for some reason, I can't say hello. Let's see if something's wrong with my armor. But first, what is what is wrong with my armor? What what what? I'm not the right color. Last time we built, I don't know what's going on there. We built this med bay, and yeah, Chad and first Clyde said that sci-fi had a beacon or antenna that would broadcast large enough for the pieces I'm about to ship to space, so I could easily find them. And then asked if I'd ever been hit by lightning or meteor. I've never been hit, not since the meteor change, I've ever been hit by meteors. I used to play with damaging lightning, and it always did a number on me. It always managed to just nuke my base frequently, and it was very frustrating. So yes, Clyde, that has happened. Uh, wasn't not particularly thrilled with my medical bay. Clyde said that 100K. He said it's like having a 100K garage with only a screwdriver and a hammer inside of it, and it's not a place you'd want to take any major injuries or explosive diarrhea. Uh, and he said, I asked, you answered. It's been updated a little bit. Look, we got ourselves a thing. We had a heal, a desk to check people in, place for. This is an emergency medical station for a factory. That's what this is, a factory. So this is better than nothing, Clyde, is what this is. And excited to see the space station make a nice big target. Thanks for that, I think. And then, yeah, and then John said he actually liked to look at the med bay, especially the outside piece. As you can see, have a little bit of armoring. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and take a walk outside. Let's take a walk on the wild side. Hey, babe, take a walk on the wild side. John also thought that maybe suggesting a weapons platform up into space first before the rest of the new base or space station because well, it'll be up there undefended. So we built this last time and it's got kind of this armor cutout. And then I went around and I added a little bit. I added some armor plating right here just because I felt like it's a space that could use some armor plating. So I did that. And that's kind of the only place I really added it. I got this built and ready to go. And then this projector is ready to also start to get built up and all of those things. So we did all of that fun stuff. Um, the medbay was just more of a we needed to have a place to respawn quickly and get health back quickly. What we didn't do, let me see if I've got anything in my inventory. I've got some food in my inventory, but what we should do is bring over a couple of snacks to have in the medbay so that we have food on hand for my inevitable demise. If I happen to demise again, which, I probably won't. I may never die again, actually. So that's probably this may be the last clone you have to worry about. Let's see. Go ahead and grab let's these mashed potatoes keep for a good long time. We can do a couple of the drinks because they'll keep for quite some time. Actually, I need two more for myself. And then, you know, nothing gets you back up on your feet like mom's spaghetti. Um, because on the surface you look calm and ready if you have mom's spaghetti. All right, let's go take a look inside. See how our farm is doing really quick. And then today so I have two thoughts, John. John thought that the first piece was just the booster stage to get all of the modules up to space. He did not realize that that was just a single piece of it. Booster stage to get the real modules in orbit. Now, that's an idea that I could just use it to navigate the pieces into space. So it would just be a stage for, none of this is ready, I don't think. That's 61%. Okay, so this isn't ready yet. So I could just use it as like a ferry to get the parts up into space. My mind, I was thinking I would have two of those booster sections and then a mid section but that is a lot of thrust, especially just to get off the moon. The thing has no problem leaving this planet at all. So let's go inside real quick. We're going to get the daylight. Yeah, so let's see what else. Remind you, stations are supposed to be stationary. They don't need the large thruster. They only need small thrusters to stay stationary. Yeah, John, that's correct. I'm upside down. Of course I am. Why wouldn't I be? Why? Oh, slow it down there, Chief. Why wouldn't this be? This is the most apt. That's screenshot right there. That's what that is. That's exactly how things should work. Now, if I can't go into third person in the crowd tube. Okay, real quick. I don't know why my suit is not the way it's supposed to be, but I typically run a race helmet. And for whatever reason, my helmet is currently not set to racing helmet, and I don't care for that. I guess I could do shark or alligator tooth, or what about this guy? He's cool looking. What about policeman helmet? Nope, nope, I don't like it. Uh, this guy? No, I don't like it that either. Just veteran. What is that? Carpet helmet? Oh no, I don't. It's not for me. Uh, tuxedo helmet. Tuxedo mask. Mark II helmet. Why is it white instead of orange? I don't understand. Thank you, dog. How are you? My dog's here. Look, fighter pilot helmet there. What we'll do with that. But why is my suit not the race suit? This is almost always I've not changed this in quite some time, and I feel like I don't have my race suit. There we are. I don't know what happened. Truly, I don't. Do I have? I don't think I have the race gloves. Do I? I might somewhere. Cow gloves, not it. Chef gloves, not it. Policeman gloves, nope, 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 nope. If only there were a way to search in this menu, Keen. If only there were some magical way to sit there. There we go. There we go. And then boots. I don't racing boots. Boom. All right. That is the tater we know and love. I don't know what happened. I don't know why I got defaulted out of my race suit, but this is the tater we know and love. Okay. Now, steps. So now you got me thinking, John. You got me thinking, and I didn't have a chance to think before walking out this door just now. Let's see, what did Clyde say? There's only a few. Talking about the comments specifically. If there's only a few comments, we would keep reading the comments. That you didn't mind that. If there are a bunch, then it might be time to respond in the comments. But you like the way it's working right now, so we can jump up, sort of. Let's get climbing up this thing. We go up to here. The other thing that Chad mentioned. So read the comments in chat. The other thing Chad mentioned is that he thought that I could build basically in the center of the base, off a center point in the base, a rotating system with a cryo tube on top of it, with a what do we suppose that is? Do I have my binoculars on me? We do. Looks like garbage. Looks like space garbage in need of transportation. Anyway, um, basically said build a giant tower that basically rotates and looks out over the entire thing, so I can go into third person and do that. It says adds a red blinking light, and then for complexity, the system only spins when I'm in it versus not. And then if I start punching all my neighbors in the face, eventually those neighbors are going to want to punch back because I've started mini fights. And you're probably not wrong. You're probably not wrong. So let's think for a second. If this were just the booster to transport stuff into space, what would that look like? And I don't know the answer to that. John, that's an interesting idea. It's an interesting thought to like, okay, let's have this thing. Let's do a little fly around. No, if this is just the system that gets it to space, and then, but my thought was I was going to have two of these. So you could imagine cranking on this guy over here. We'd have two boosters. In between the boosters would be the manufacturing facility. I hadn't planned for a weapons platform, but now I'm thinking I probably definitely need a weapons platform because everybody has now warned me that I'm going to get murdered in space. You know what? We're going to try this. We're going to go with the original plan. We're going to send this guy to space today. I believe, Clyde, that this is set to broadcast at 5,000. That's not enough, but we are going to make a GPS just in case. We're going to say 25,000 is what we want to broadcast radius on that bad boy. The battery should be good to last. If not, that'll be a problem that we'll have to face when we get there. Let's go ahead and get those tanks filled up. They're fully filled. We're gonna have to get a cool countdown, as we do. If somebody knows how to better use the spectator camera, like how to use it where it does a better job, let me know. That's what I'm asking for today. Let me know. All right. Thruster pod. So one of the things I need to do though, before we get too crazy with the cheese whiz, I need to do large thruster, which is this guy here. We're going to set override percentage to 100%, and then confirm. Then we are going to have it set override percentage 0%, confirm that, and then we want to increase thrust override, decrease thrust override. And that's just so we can take off, because when this thing drops, we're going to want it to be fully functional. So let's get this thing to space. This should be easy peasy lemon squeezy. I'm a little concerned about the closeness of all these guys, but you know what? We just have to rock on. So first, engines are a go. We are at fuel. We are at full fuel. We are going to disconnect, and we're off. Woo, that's quick. Dang, that got us to speed really quick. We could just honestly turn this thing off. We can turn off our dampeners. That took very little effort to get this thing into space. Holy crap. We're just gonna let it rise up. And that, start rotation. Oh, nope, wrong button. How do we do that? So see what I mean? When I press F8, I switch to this camera view. F7 follows this target. F6 brings you back to your character. And I don't know, yeah, we are out of gravity. So let's turn these things on here. We are set. And this is where everything's going to get met up. So let's do GPS Voltron. That's what we're calling it. And Voltron will that's the nickname for this. We're going to go ahead and turn off. We're going to leave it all on. It would be a terrible idea to not leave it all on. So now that we've got the Voltron here, we should be able to get back to base and build the next piece. That's what we should do. I'm a little nervous, I'm going to be honest, about leaving that up here, but sometimes the baby bird's got to fly, or I don't know. I don't have a good analogy here, but we can still see PAG thrust pod as we careen towards the moon. It'll be fine. John, the reason I had such large thrusters on it, or the reason I was thinking about it, is if we had two of those, what would happen is basically we would then be able to utilize the space station, fly it where we wanted, and then we could park it indefinitely. Ooh, that felt very dangerous, is what that did. Okay, so next thing we need to do, I'm going to grab some parts, and we're going to build this out. We're going to build this out not that. We're not going to build this out coloring this welder. We're going to build this out I'm going to build the construction section, and we're going to see what comes of that. Oh, dear, and I got to do that first. So grab this. Oh, I don't have enough. More of those, please. Okay, just in case. Let me go put this food in our wonderful, in our hospital. That's the whole point of me grabbing the food and bringing it over here so that I could put it in the hospital that Clyde is throwing shade at, But I get it. Look, it's not the best. Lab freezer, it's a great place for that. Great place for that. Great place for those. And then, while we're at it, I'm just gonna go ahead and eat some curry. Get my grub on while we're here. And now we're gonna get to building. So we're gonna build out this platform. This is the midsection platform that's gonna be for the construction. So what I want to have specifically, this is where I think we're gonna have the gravity generator, is what I want to put on this. I want to put the production. So all of our modules, like one refinery, one assembler, and one cargo container. That's what this section is going to look like. So let's get to building that. And yeah, here comes that time lapse. Good grief. All right. Well, there is just we have a lot going on in our airspace right now. I don't care for it really, if I'm being honest. Okay, so I had to do some reworking. So that's what I got so far. It's obviously not closed in, but this would be the industrial sector of our ship. Got the armor plating type guy going down. Um, my thoughts that I would have yield modules and stuff on this, I don't actually know that that'll be the case. We could still do it. We would just need to knock this guy off because that's obviously not going to work. So we would do, and I guess my go-to is always we do speed for the brow, power for the eyeballs, not whatever you were saying, whatever you were thinking. And then we do one guy like that, one guy like that. That knocks that guy out, and then we probably do another one of those just to have. So what here he is. So we go up the ladder. We're like, climbing up this ladder. Get into here. We go up one more rung, and now we're in the industrial sector. This is obviously blocked in, so you can't accidentally jump out. This way you can. Go into here. These would be airlocked. This sucks all the air out. And then coming into here, these would auto close, and you would see, like, I don't know if that's airtight or not. In case it isn't, what we can do is just do that right there. That'll probably air tighten that if it's not airtight. Yeah, and this would be our industrial sector, just sitting right here like that. We would seal in around this bottom part. So like I'm thinking if we do this piece there, I think this actually will line up with our other guy. And get these guys here. I don't know if I've got a block for that. I probably do, actually. I do know I have a block for that. It is this block right here. And we do that. So that should... That's kind of what I was thinking for as far as the industrial sector. And then this section come out here. We'll build a walkway out, and this will go to the command module. We'll figure out how to get up to the command deck, which will be up above this, connected to that. The things this needs still is H2O2 generator, obviously, so we can plop one of those bad boys down. I'm thinking we just do... we'll just throw one in the mix up here because I don't think it's going to take too much away from anything. We might also actually be able to throw it in right here, like so, and give us an opportunity for thrust right there. Yeah, I like that. I like that right there. And then we can just grab this guy here. We'll take and we'll pipe up. Let's do this kind to give it some greeble. Pipe that up to that. That'll be like that. Let me close this in, and then I'll pick you right back up. All right, let's take a look. See what we've got. Got some troffer lights in here. I think what I'll do is I'm probably going to replace that welder. It's just here for the time being. If you fall down in here, you're most definitely stuck forever and permanently scarred for life. So that's fun. That's exactly what you want in life. If we close this, and we did, I was hoping, I don't see a way. I might have to, I forgot, I was hoping I could put an air vent on that, but I butted that thing up so close to it that there's not really a way. I wonder if there is a way where we could, going to need to put this in there so I can grind this out. And I guess what we will do is we will have ourselves a vent down here, and we'll do full size. And we'll just do, we'll call this industry air vent int. That's just so that it's internal. Like I said, we're probably going to get rid of that guy, but for now we can, let's go and see if we can't find that welder one more time so we can utilize it. Get everything welded up on the inside in there, like so. Turn that off. Okay. Now I've attempted to, I believe this is where the merge is going to happen for the other one to connect to the guy up there. So that's that. Obviously this has no thrust, so it's not flying anywhere in this current moment. We can probably close that off. I like the idea of this being like, what if we just, there's that, and then we can do the same side on the same thing on the side over here, where it's just like, go ahead and grab weld all those things. That way I've got the inventory there. That looks good right there. I don't love this corner right here. This isn't working for me. So we'll probably do this right here. Weld that up. Okay, so that's kind of the shape of this whole thing, and this doesn't look right either. I don't care for this corner. We're gonna figure that out because I feel like what's happening here. Yeah, I'm correct. My feelings are correct. So we can just do this, that. Yep, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take this banding down. We're gonna do that right there. Get the armor banding is what we're going for, so this doesn't need to be there. And then up there, I don't know if I care for that hat either. Part of me kind of wants to see. There's the problem with this interior space. We'll go ahead and chop this out really quick so I can take a look. But the issue with this space is I wanted to give some walkway space, like some headroom right here, so it's not just super tight. But it means that this all needs to come up a block, I think is what it means. And I can do that. I don't know why I'm so hesitant. Here I could just go blop, 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 blop. I think it's because this right here, this is the one that is throwing me off. But if I do this block right here, there we go, do that. And then that, that, and like that. And then we can knock that guy down. Switch there, right there, right there. Beautiful. And then this block can be reduced to something else like, yep, I think that works. And then I think the only issue that we're going to have with this, right, is the walkway off this thing. So we might have to correct this later, but that's okay. I'm not really worried about it. So we do that right there. Let's go ahead and get that welded up one last time. We go welder, find our secret factory welder that we're not going to leave on the base. I don't think. That's not my plan anyways. Turn that off. All right, now I'm going to here. If we close this bad boy, we should get oxygenated because we're not airtight at all. Are you shut? You're shut. Okay, where's the leak? Find the leak, my boy. Ah, there's the leak. It's going up and over and out that hole right there because that's not a full block. Eh. Okay, okay. Perfect. Close, open. It's just coming out this hole right here because this is not creating a block. So what we do, we chop that off, chop that off. We go here, we do this, we go do this, and boom. Just like that, we weld this up, block it, and then we have air tightness. Air tightness found. Beautiful. Okay, and then what we would do, like, okay, for industry, just as a quick, like, we're just gonna paint this really quick to give the idea of the armor blocking. Like I said, we're probably gonna have to fix the door right there because I don't think this is gonna be. You know what? I'm thinking. Here's the downside, John and company. I think we may have to actually bring the piece of the base we already put in space, the thruster pod. We may have to go up, grab it, and have it shift this up there. Although I think the fire is spreading. There's a rescue beacon. I really need to go find that, I feel like. I don't know. It feels like a trap, but I also am like a little nervous for the guys. So maybe we need to do that. I don't know. Are we heroes? Do we want to be the heroes of whoever is having those problems? Oh my gosh. There we go. I think we got it all painted. But so like that's kind of the idea. Like this is going to be the industrial sector. And maybe if we're smart about it, I probably could go inside and throw in some windows. Like anything that's yellow, like I could potentially put in a porthole window. So we could have like just right here. Do I have porthole windows anywhere on my bar? I bet I don't. I don't, but I can just go port. It's weird that those windows don't pop up as a grouping. But we can do that. Grab this guy here, and then I could potentially, like, how do we feel about a window right there? I think this would be a good spot, right? And then 7 is the bar. These things are on, and then I should be able to. We can grab one with this stuff, or we can do this kind of window. I kind of like this guy here. Get that done right there, and then grab the parts. I said grab the parts. Why did we not grab them? Successful. There we go. Yeah, so we have this is airtight space still, is it not? Did I leave the doors open? I did. So yeah, now this is an airtight space. Boom. We've got that in there. I think we might even, like I said, I might do a couple extra troffer lights. I wonder if that's actually necessary. It doesn't look like those bars there are actually necessary to make that airtight, but maybe it's because I have it airtight on the outside. I don't actually know. So, oh, and that's the other thing I could have done, you dolt. Okay. We can put another air vent up here because we're not going to have this. But this would be the industry sector. And then I need a programmable block somewhere which I can throw honestly anywhere in here. Like I can just put a programmable block right there. If we wanted to be kind of intrepid in space usage, we could potentially throw the programmable block over here. Yeah, and if we did that, like we could do that. We cut this down really quick. There's obviously another bar there that's probably doesn't need to be there anymore because we've closed this thing off. But then we could say, let's go to this gray color back to that. We just do an open flank. I think this guy there, just to keep the bar continuity, and then could do this guy here. And there's a little programmer block we can get to do the well, this would be like for potentially Izzy's. It could be for the airlock script. We need it for the airlock script, and then we could put down another programmable block for the goat sorter, specifically for the space station. which we could do then. We would just grab up here. We'd say 3, and then we could put it upside down like that. And then this guy could be green because it's the goat sorter. And that would take care of that piece right there. I think that's what we will be looking at. That's not too bad, right? This gets us the industry. This is dangerous, right? You'll fall into this pit, and then like if you are out of juice, you are out. But I don't think there's really a way to fix that. Outside of, no, I don't feel like there's a way to fix this very easily. I'd have to take those off, and I really like those vents because they're blocking our other things. So you just need to be careful. Don't fall in there. If you did fall in here, I guess you could always jump, grab this, attach your thing. So we need to make this thing fly is the next step. But we've got kind of the looks of it. These things are not dark enough, bright enough in here, in my opinion. So like if let's deposit all those components in here. Let's chop this guy out. I don't like that. And then we can do, honestly, we can do, what can we do? We can do, what was I doing? We need to go back to gray. Gray's fine. And then let's grab the same, we'll keep the same name. And we can just put that right there. Beautiful. I love that. So there's that. And then I think light-wise, we could just do one extra one here. I don't like that at all. That looks terrible. Maybe let's do some light panels. How about that? That light panel sounds like the right move. We can do one there, one there. We can do a 3 across that right there, and that should give us enough lighting. This thing's airtight. Like I said, this is meant to be a pass-through. This is the industrial section. We don't it's got all the speed modules, so you don't need all that stuff. So what we're trying to accomplish here is that you come into here. Oh, and this is supposed to be called, well, we can get that programmed here in a second. So let's turn on the vents. Let's see if we can get all that stuff welded up from this side. I don't know if we can, just because, but I think that looks pretty good as far as a module goes. Now, this is doing a lot of welding. Why is it doing so much welding? It's weird. Okay. The hiccup's going to be this right here, I think. But I like the way this looks. Like the whole thing looks awesome, I think. We could, so once we get into here, so like I said, this would be right here. This would be the airlock script. So we would say airlock boy. We don't have to call it airlock boy. That'd be a weird thing to call it. It's not a boy. But then we do whips is the airlock script I like. Check code. It works. Beautiful. And then all you need to do, so it would just be, this would be basically you would do the name for this. Nope. Don't respawn. Thank you. The name for this would be industry. So IND airlock door interior. Okay. And then you would do that. And then come down here, paste. And those two things are now named. This, for the light, would be industry airlock light. So there's that. And then this, you would name it industry airlock door exterior. And this is how this works. It just notifies these things. And then now when this guy opens, this guy should lock. But except for it didn't. So did I mess the name up? Industry airlock door, IND airlock door. I don't know. Normally that's how that works. So I guess there you go. It should be fairly simple, and you can always come in here and you do the edits, right? And then you read. And it basically need prefix. IND is what the prefix airlock interior. So maybe it's because I have door in it. So if we do interior, and then I copy that, IND, and then paste that, and then I come over here, and I do exterior. And then this guy here. IND should be the code, unless industry doesn't work. But that's the way the other ones are labeled. So if we check, no, it's not working. It is for sure not working. And so let's come over here. Take a look at our other doors really quick. So this one is called storage airlock exterior, and the other side of the door is called storage airlock interior. So maybe it's just because the name of the door is not cool enough. I don't know. Oh no, it's working now. Look at that. Light turns red. That door's open. So that door is not. That one turns this. This is. So we just need to rename this guy, and then I don't have a light on this side, so that's just we just have to deal with that. But that solves this problem, and then we can do all these lighting in here. We'll get all this stuff changed over and see what we want this to look like, and then this can run the goat sorter at some point. For now we're just going to leave this turned off. Now this only has a small battery. This only has a single battery. This is not going to be good enough to do the work that we need it to do, but that's okay. It is fascinating to me that this one is not doing what I want it to do. Oh, because, sorry. Here we go, do that. Okay, so next time what needs to happen, and we can come over here, we'll do recompile. Nope, recompile. Now if I pop that open, that locks that. The light in there is blinking, which is great. We can also do, let's do this. Let's go in here. I'm going to grab this light name, and then we'll do one more. We'll do a little baby light right. There's nowhere to place it because raisins. What kind of block is this? Is the question I have. 4 or 5. Let's do. We need this to be a light. And I was thinking to myself, like, how useful would it be if this whole thing blinked? Let's try it out. Let's give this a go. This could be really terrible, or it could be awesome. So, why is that light blinking? Why are you blinking? Oh, there you go. So yeah, so when the door is open, the light is blue. I don't know if I like that. And then it says the light's it's open, and then we go in there. Perfect. Look at that. That works. So that's going to be it. That's going to be our whole industry section. We need to build boosters. I've got all this piping down here for lift and directional thrust. We can easily throw everything in all the directions, and we can figure out what that's going to look like going those ways. Or you guys let me know in the comments. Do we bring down the thruster module we just sent up there and we attach it and then take these both to space together? This is going to need more batteries or a big solar array once we get up there. I'm hoping at some point we can find uranium. That'll be the goal, so it's self-sustaining and it doesn't require a whole bunch of crap. But that is going to be it for today. I appreciate you guys coming along. I think we did pretty good. That's not too bad. We got the second piece functionally worked out. I don't know if I care for the ladder drop down right here. We'll see how that works. Because honestly, we're going to need, like I said, we got to put an antenna on this. We're going to have to put some tanks on this. It's just, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about all of the way all of that looks. But I am happy that it's airlock and ready for space. And we could probably put in another window somewhere, like maybe one. In fact, we should. We should just put another window right here. So we're going to go grab, we're going to cut a hole right here and ruin all our airlock tightness. We're going to grab this guy here, and we're going to just slap in one right there. Beautiful. I'll grab that, come over here. I don't need this anymore, so I can just grab the parts off that and get this welded up. And there you go. Bob Junko got himself 2 windows. I think that's neat. Gives it a little bit of whatever. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think about it. This isn't the final color scheme. That's just to kind of give you the looks of what I want it to be. And then we've got to figure this part out because this is definitely going to cause an issue if we don't have a full block right there. So we may have to pivot, I guess. Maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, that's that. I appreciate you guys as always. Man, I'm hungry already. Look at that. Oh, I didn't mean to grab one of those. I meant to eat one of these, but now I can't. That's kind of the whole shebang today. We got ourselves a little industrial sector, a little piece of the puzzle about to go up. It needs a couple of things. What did we not finish? We didn't finish. It doesn't have thrust, and gyro. It has no way to get up to space. So that's definitely a problem. It probably needs additional batteries. That's going to be a problem. It needs tanks. That's a problem. Ah, it also probably needs a projector and a gravity generator, as those are two requirements that I really wanted for this thing. But maybe this isn't what gets the gravity. Maybe the gravity is the food quarters and stuff like that. There's just one section. Anyways, let me know down below what you think. Do I bring back the thruster pod, lift this into space, or do we fly it up there with its own thrusters? We can figure that out. I appreciate you guys coming along, and as always, I will catch you later, taters. Nope, I messed all that up. I will catch you later, taters, and as always, be kind, and yeah, stay ornery. Bye.